Pastors Chooks and Toyin Ogoye. Pastors Chooks and Toyin Ogoye are the lead pastors of Resurrection Life Church, Johannesburg, South Africa. They are passionate about building families and raising men and women who transform and uplift the standard of life in their communities through understanding and applying biblical principles. Pastor Chooks and Pastor Toyin frequently host workshops, seminars, and conferences for transformation. Some of their programs include Kingdom Financiers Conferences, Dream Achievers Conferences, Marriage Enrichment Courses and Seminars, for wives-only seminars, Single Ladies Boot Camps, and Limitless Men Seminars. They are the founders of the Power of Women Academy, a group mentorship for high-impact women, and host the annual Power of Women conferences and amazing Power of Women broadcasts. For more information, please visit www.idelight.co.za and www.reslife.org.za or WhatsApp +27 814 210 835.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the amazing Power of Woman broadcast. I am Dr. Choksu Goy here. Tonight we are back to teaching on the women of the Bible. And tonight we have a very interesting character. By the way, for those who are joining us for the first time, I wrote this book a couple of years ago, The Amazing Power of Woman. This book is the basis for this YouTube broadcast where we're teaching and unpacking the power that God has put inside of women. And for a couple of months now, we have been doing a character study of several women in the Bible to see how they engaged the power that they had, the power that God has given to women, either positively or negatively. We've looked at so many of women in the Bible, so many of them. And tonight we want to study Hannah. Hannah's story is found in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 1 and chapter 2. And those are the only places where her story is in the Bible. Hannah is the first wife of a man called Elkanah. And she had another, a co-wife called Peninnah. So Elkanah was polygamous, married to two women. Hannah was the first wife. Peninnah was the second wife. Hannah, unfortunately, had issues with conceiving. And for a long time, she couldn't give birth to a child. And Peninnah was just dropping children. And so this family went once a year to Shiloh to, offer some family sacrifices and worship. And every time they came to Shiloh, it was a torturous visit each year for Hannah, because Peninnah will provoke her sore. Peninnah will talk, all different kind of things. And so she endured this pain of being mocked. I can imagine Peninnah calling her a man. You say a woman who cannot give birth, is that a woman? I can imagine all kinds of things that Peninnah was saying to her. And these things were really hurting her. In that culture, in that time, a woman's femininity was validated by her giving birth to children, at least a child. So here she was not, producing. It is even possible that Elkanah decided to marry a second wife because Hannah could not give him a baby in the first place. So after a while of trying, struggling, and the baby was not coming, he went ahead to marry, Peninnah. And now Peninnah comes, and 9 months, there's a baby. And then, after some time again, there's another baby, and she was just dropping babies. And then she started taunting this woman. So there are a number of things we want to learn from Hannah. And this is why we are studying her. There's a number of lessons that we want to draw from her life. Okay, so one of the things that we said in this book, The Amazing Power of Woman, God has blessed woman with the power of the womb. The power of the womb, the capacity to conceive and bring forth things into the world. The power of the womb. All right, so this was a woman whose womb initially failed to conceive. It's a womb that received seed but could not conceive. She received seed from her husband, but she could not conceive. So this woman, for whatever the reason why she couldn't conceive, we don't know, because eventually she conceived and she had 6 children, Samuel plus 5 others. But for the period that we are looking at before Samuel was conceived, she couldn't. So obviously there was something not, working properly there. And there's something I want to address quickly. In verse 5, 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 5, I want to address something there. He said, but to Anna, he would give a double portion, for he loved Anna. So her husband loved her, and her husband would give a double portion to her. Although, this is the part I want to address, although the Lord had closed her womb. There is a statement that everything written in the Bible, they are all truly stated, but not every statement in the Bible is a statement of truth. This is one example of a statement of untruth. It's untruth, it's not true. It's not true that it is the Lord that closed her womb. It's not true. Our God is an absolutely good God. He doesn't do evil. This whole book was written by Samuel. There are some things Samuel doesn't know about the character of God. Samuel doesn't know that God is absolutely good. So Samuel is writing here that the Lord closed the womb of Anna. God does not close people's wombs. And then they are crying, then they're in pain, and no, God doesn't do that. No. God doesn't do that. So what it was is that people often blamed on God phenomena they didn't understand. Even at this time, people didn't really know that there was a devil in existence. No, people didn't know that there was Satan. There was a being called Satan. So a lot of things that Satan could have been responsible for, they put it on God. And erroneously so, because they didn't know God. They didn't know God very well. No, they didn't. Jesus was the first person who came and showed us the character of the God we serve. So I want to just, clear that God did not shut down the womb or close the womb of Hannah and allow her to suffer and allow her to be mocked. No, God is a good God. God doesn't do that. God doesn't do that. So why was her womb, unable to conceive child? We live in a fallen world. There's a devil out there, who stops people from being fulfilled, who stops people from being blessed, who stops people from being fruitful. So there's a devil out there. And then there are the consequences of the fall, where the fall causes things to malfunction. The fall causes things not to work the way they're supposed to work. And all of these are things that the power of God rectifies if you believe in his goodness. The power of God will rectify it if you believe in his goodness. So this woman was, under severe pressure by her co-wife, Peninnah, who was mocking her, who was really mocking her and, provoking her sore. And one of the things that I want to bring out about Anna is that Anna never responded to her harshly, or in the same way that Peninnah was, mocking her. Hannah did not degenerate to the flesh to start fighting her, If Anna had nothing to say, Anna kept quiet. This is so powerful. If Anna had nothing positive to say, Anna kept quiet. So Anna did not respond to Peninnah. Instead, Anna took her pain to God. That's something we need to learn. Anna took her pain to God. Many of us are in situations where people are treating us unfairly. People are saying unjust things to us. You don't have to respond. You don't have to, go into the flesh, come down to their level. If a madman insults you on the road and then you come down from your car and start exchanging words with the madman, after a while, we will not know which of them is mad. In fact, 2 of you are mad. But for you to respond to a madman, you are mad. So Hannah did not come down to the level of Peninnah. She refused to do that. That woman was something else. You see, there was a certain spirit in her, a spirit of excellence a virtuous character that was in her. Even when the day she went to pray, and the high priest Eli mistook her prayer and her passion in prayer to be drunkenness and accused her of being drunk early in the morning. She said, no, I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk. What you are seeing here is the anguish of my soul. I am crying out my heart to the Lord. So she did not take it out on the high priest and start insulting him and start shouting like a lot of women would do. She did not abuse her power to talk. A lot of women abuse their power to talk. I once heard a woman brag. And what was she bragging? She was bragging about her capacity to unleash toxic words. Her capacity to tongue lash. That's actually what she used. Say, I'm going to tongue lash him. I'm going to tongue lash him. You want to flog the man with your words. No, that's an abuse of the power that God gave you. That's an abuse of your power. Hannah did not abuse that power. She was, provoked, and she had reason to retaliate and tongue lash Peninnah and get into verbal exchanges with Peninnah, or get into verbal exchanges with Eli, the high priest, and destroy what God was going to do for her through Eli. But she didn't. She chose to cry to God. She chose to take her pain to God. So I want to ask you a question tonight. What are you doing because of the pain that you carry? Are you handling your pain with carnality, or are you handling your pain with godliness? You can be in pain. Yes, life happens. I mean, what did she do to deserve Peninnah mocking her and provoking her and irritating her the way that Peninnah was doing? What did she deserve to be accused of being a drunk when she was crying to God? But you know what? That was, what came to her. She didn't have to respond back to them in carnality. And thank God that she did not. Thank God that she had control of herself to take her pain to God. And that pain she took to God, and because it was all the pain, she did not dissipate the pain by tongue lashing Peninnah. She did not dissipate the pain by tongue lashing the high priest. She did not dissipate the pain by nagging, no, or by shouting at her husband. She did not dissipate that pain. She took that pain and poured it out to God. And the power of that pain produced power in prayer. Woman of God, why don't you take your pain and take it to God and let it power your prayer. Let it power your passion in prayer, because that's what will get you answer. Resorting to the flesh and shouting and coming into a shouting match, and no. It's a waste of spiritual opportunity and spiritual possibility to get answers. No wonder the problem has continued, because you are addressing your pain in carnality. You are addressing your pain in carnality. Hannah did not do that. Hannah went to God with her pain. The Bible says in verse 10, 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 10, and she was in bitterness of soul. She was in bitterness of soul. Where did this bitterness of soul come from? From all the mockings. I don't know who you are. Maybe you've endured a lot of mocking, and it's produced pain and bitterness of soul. What are you doing with the bitterness of soul? The bitterness of soul can turn you into a bitter person, but not Hannah. The bitterness of soul did not turn her into a bitter person, do not turn her into a toxic person, do not turn her into a verbally abusive person. No. The bitterness of pain, the bitterness of soul made her pray. And she prayed to the Lord and wept in anguish. Did you see that? So her bitterness turned her into a prayer warrior. Come on. Her bitterness turned her into a prayer giant. What are you doing with the bitterness? I know you've gone through some things. I know you've gone through some pain. I know people have hurt you. Your husband has hurt you. Your children have hurt you. Some neighbor somewhere, some friend somewhere, some sibling somewhere, some friend somewhere, some colleague at work. People have hurt you and done things that have produced bitterness of soul. But are you allowing the bitterness of soul make you a bitter soul? Not Hannah. Hannah did not allow the bitterness of soul make her a bitter soul. Some people, you've allowed bitterness twist you and mango you. You become a monster. You don't even know what you're looking like anymore. You become something that you never imagined you become. because you allowed bitterness to mangle you. Hannah did not allow bitterness to turn her into a bitter person. The bitterness of soul, based on what she has had to endure, made her pray. Can I ask you today? Life may have dealt you a hand that you did not expect. Your husband may have dealt you a hand that you did not expect. Your children may have dealt you a hand you did not expect. Siblings, random strangers, people you trusted, friends, relatives, classmates, I don't know who. But people have betrayed your trust. People have said things to you they should not have said to you. And it has created bitterness of soul. Do not let bitterness of soul make you a bitter person. Do not let bitterness of soul turn you into a monster. This is what Hannah did not allow to happen to her. She never retorted. She never shouted back. She never said a word. Instead, she allowed her pain drive her to the presence of God. She allowed her pain drive her to pour out her heart to God. And the intensity of that cry, because she had not emptied it anywhere else. She had not dissipated it anywhere else. You see, all that, wrangling and shouting back at people and being bitter, you are dissipating energy. You are dissipating spiritual power, passion you could transmute in a place of prayer and use it to secure major advancements in your life, major fulfillment of desires and purposes in your life. Instead of allowing that pain to drive you to pray through your way and get answers, you are busy responding in the flesh. Isn't that foolishness? Isn't that foolishness? Because responding in the flesh, what is he doing for you? How has he helped you? How has he solved your problem? Hannah understood it. If I get down to Peninnah's level and start fighting with Peninnah, I miss the plot. I miss the plot big time. I miss the plot. I need to have a baby. Peninnah cannot give me a baby. Elkanah cannot give me a baby. The only person who can give me a baby is God. So I might as well take my pain back to God. Take my anguish back to God. Take my passion back to God. And that's what she did. And she understood that power of praying. And then the next thing, that as she took her pain to God, she made a vow. This woman made a vow. Wow. She made a vow. What was the vow? She said to the Lord in verse 11, 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 11, O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant, and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but will give your maidservant a male child, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall come upon his head. So somehow she knew that the Lord needed a prophet, because Eli had sons that were irresponsible. His sons were supposed to take over from him, but his sons were irresponsible, and his sons were desecrating the altar. So God was in need of a prophet. And somehow Hannah discerned the desire that was in the heart of God, and she made her desire for a child coincide with the desire of God for a prophet. So she said to the Lord, if you give me a son, I will give you a prophet. I will dedicate him to you, and he will serve you. Wow, this woman is powerful. This woman is extremely powerful. How did she discern what was in the mind of God? How did she discern what God needed? Can I tell you something? Behind that pain, behind the anguish you're going through, there is something that God needs. There's something that God needs. And if you would discern what God needs and press into the need of God, your own issues will be solved. Your own needs will be solved. So that pain you're going through, that situation you're going through, allow that situation to drive you into the presence of God to pray. Because behind that pain, behind that affliction, there's something, there's a blessing. God needs a part of it. And as you give it to God, you get what you are looking for. Your answer is in how you channel that pain. Take that pain to God. So God needed a prophet. Hannah needed a son. And he made a vow to God. If you give me a son, I'll give it back to you, and he will serve you all the days of his life. All the days of his life. All the days of his life. I will give him to you. And the Bible says, and it happened as she continued praying before the Lord that Eli watched her mouth. So this was prayer that was coming out from her heart, but it was not vocal. Her lips were moving, her mouth was moving, but words were not coming out. And now Hannah spoke in her heart. Only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore, Eli thought she was drunk. Eli thought, what kind of woman comes here and, is behaving like this? And Eli said to her, how long will you be drunk? Put your wine away from you. But this woman did not take offense. She said, but Hannah answered and said, no, my Lord, I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor intoxicating drink, but I have poured out my soul before the Lord. What a woman. I have poured out my soul before the Lord. So why don't you take that pain and pour it before the Lord? Don't dissipate it by quarreling. Don't dissipate it by, becoming cantankerous. Don't dissipate it by, exchanging words with people. No. Take that pain. Let it drive you to a place of prayer. Let it turn you into a prayer warrior. Utilize that pain to transform your life. Do you know that, when we pray, we are changed. Prayer changes us. Prayer does not change God. Prayer changes us. So what is happening here is that as this woman poured out her pain to the Lord, her prayer was changing her. She was becoming a better person. And that's why, she did not take offense at what Eli said, calling her a drunk. No. Some other woman would have said, how can you say I'm drunk? You are the one who is drunk. You are the one who is mad. Your father is mad. Your mother is mad. And they go on and on and on. But not Hannah. Hannah had control of her emotions, had her control over her mouth. She did not allow her mouth to rattle. She ended up securing from God that which she needed. And the Bible said, do not consider, verse 16, do not consider your maidservant a wicked woman. For out of the abundance of my complaint and grief, I have spoken until now. Then Eli answered and said, go in peace, and the God of Israel grant your petition which you have asked of him. Because she did not insult Eli, and she was, polite towards the man of God prayed for her. The man of God, as a representative of God in the earth, Eli prayed, and Eli said, go in peace. The God of Israel grant your petition which you have asked of him. And she said, let your maidservant find favor in your sight. So the woman went her way and ate, and her face was no longer sad. She became joyful. When she poured out her heart and the man of God prayed over her, she became joyful. And being in that state of joy, she conceived. Joy will activate. Please hear this. The amazing power that you carry on the inside of you needs joy to activate it. So here is a woman whose womb, one of the powers that God is giving to woman is the power of the womb, whose womb was not working. So the power of the womb in Anna was locked up. It was constrained. It was chained down. It was unactivated. But when she stepped into joy, because Bible said her face was no longer sad, meaning she became joyful. When she became joyful, the power of the womb was activated. What does that tell us? Joy will activate your powers. The amazing powers that you carry as a woman, joy will activate them. Joy will make them work. Joy will make them function. So it's the enemy. Listen to me, please. Is the enemy trying to cage your power and abuse your power by causing you to become caustic, causing you to become depressed, causing you to become angry, causing you to become negative. That's the enemy hijacking your power and using your power against you. Because the enemy knows that when joy fills your heart, your power is activated to work for you positively, to work for your lifting, to work for prosperity, to work to bring increase in your life, to work to bring the answers to your prayers. But if the enemy deceives you and you get, caustic, you get negative, you move into a negative state of mind where you are just dishing out negative energy. Negative energy will never attract positive things into your life. If financial blessings is the positive thing, negative energy can never draw positive things into your life. Negative energy will actually cause negative things to come into your life. Yes, it's true. When you are operating in that negative energy, you activate negative things to happen. I've been in a place where a woman was in such a negative atmosphere, such a negative mode, that the roof fell on her. Something fell from the roof and crashed on her head. And you say, how did that happen? How does you stand under something on the roof and it just falls on you? What put that thing to fall on you? Negative energy. So you can't continue, allow the enemy to push you into negativity. She conceived because her face was no longer sad. Her face was no longer sad. So all that sadness, she poured it. So am I saying do not what's the word? Do not be affected by negativity people say? No, I'm saying learn to use the negativity well. When people irritate you, when people annoy you, when people cause you grief, when people cause you pain, instead of generating more negativity in your mind, why don't you take that negativity and take that and pour out your heart to the Lord like Hannah did. Hannah took her pain to Jesus. Hannah took her pain to God. Hannah took her pain to the Father. Hey, Jesus was not born then. Hannah took her pain to the Father, and she prayed out her heart. Let the pain drive you into intimacy. Let the pain drive you to pursue God. Don't dissipate your pain in carnality, because it's not helping you. It's actually driving blessings away from you. It's actually driving prosperity away from you. Take that pain to the Lord. Let that pain make you a prayerful person. Let that pain draw you, because there's benefit in developing deep intimacy with the Lord. There's benefit in praying. And the Bible said, because she was not rude to Eli. Imagine if she answered Eli rudely and say, why are you saying I'm drunk? I'm not drunk. You are the one who is drunk. Your father is the one who is drunk. The mother is the one. If she went that way, Eli would not have had the grace to speak over her life and to give her what she was looking for. But because she was polite towards Eli, despite Eli accusing her of irresponsibility, despite Eli accusing her of being a drunk, she did not answer back that way. She answered with grace, and she got the blessing of the man of God. And the Bible said she conceived. There's quite a lot to learn from this woman. Let me take one more. I'm going to continue this next week. Let me take one more. I'm going to continue this next week. Once the barrenness was broken, it was broken. Hannah had 5 more children. That's powerful. Hannah had 5 more children. What do we learn from this? When she managed to break this thing and the blessing of God started pouring, it continued. It continued. She had 3 boys and 2 girls. So when you add Samuel, she had 4 boys and 2 girls. So can you see that, she was amply rewarded. For your shame, God will give you double. For your shame, God will give you double. If you manage the shame well. It's not just that, for shame. No, if you manage the shame well. For Hannah, she took the shame to God. She allowed the shame to drive her to prayer. And because she did, when the door opened. Children started coming. 5 more children afterwards, after Samuel, they came. What do we learn there? this thing that you're allowing the enemy to make you dissipate that pain and use that pain to become caustic and use that pain to become is foolishness. It's lack of wisdom on your part. If you are wise, you allow the pain to drive you to God. And when the reward starts coming, when the blessings start coming, is good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Look at Hannah. 6 children came out of her womb. 6 solid children came out of her womb because she managed that pain well. When the door opened, the blessings start coming. I prophesy to you today, that door opens and the blessing starts coming. That which the enemy used to taunt you, which enemy used to mock you, is turned around for your good. And the blessings start coming and start pouring and start pouring and start pouring in the mighty name of Jesus. I'm going to stop there for tonight, and I'm going to continue Anna's story next week in another edition of The Amazing Power of Woman. God bless you. Good night. I'll see you next time.
The Power of Woman Academy is a group mentoring program for high-impact women. Women who want to change their lives and their worlds and move on to the next level. Power of Woman Academy is aimed and tailored at unleashing the passion and greatness locked inside you as a woman as you walk the journey of life over the mentorship period with our team of distinguished and well-accomplished mentors from all walks of life. Our mentors are indeed destiny helpers. These mentors come to inspire you. They come to encourage you, to challenge you, to teach you, to stretch you, and to empower you. They are committed to helping you fulfill your highest potential and help you birth your wildest dreams that have been placed in you by God. For more information about the Power of Woman Academy, please visit www.powacademy.co.za, or for inquiries, call 064 200 1545.